Okay, here we are. We're wrapping up the M9, the UltiMAK M9 installation on the Serbian Zastava PAP, and so we basically used, talked to Lyle at UltiMAK, and he took very good care of me. Got the M9 to me very quickly. We got it installed, and very clear instructions, and so it was just a super quick install. Got it installed that night, like last Friday night. Got to the range Saturday with some friends. We had a great time. The Zastava PAP, it performed great. Just a very very nice shooting gun. Always was, but now of course. And I didn't put this in the video earlier, but this was when we first started out, just zeroing it in at 25 yards. So 25 yards, we're probably looking at, like here in this group, you're looking at a very tight group here, probably within 1 to 2 inches. Of course, we've got another group here, and obviously right over here, right here. So the other ones are just 22s. I got a little 15, 22 we're shooting there, but these three groups right across the board here. I'll do it like this way here, here, and here. You've got these three groups are just all Zastava, and 7.6239 at 25 yards. Awesome tight groups. And I think those are 1 inch squares, so you can kind of get an idea how good the grouping was. But very nice, just very happy with it. Again, thank you, Lyle at UltiMAK. Couldn't be happier with your product. I definitely would recommend it to anyone. And you'll see in the video at the very beginning, I lost all the audio that I was working with the tabletop when I was putting the M9 on this Zastava. So it's kind of it's overdubbed. I had to put the audio back on it, so you'll see the first part of the video is kind of messed up and kind of broken up and put together. But then we get out to the range, we got some good shots and stuff. So it was a lot of fun. I definitely, it's probably the last thing I'm going to do to the Zastava PAP. But it was definitely well worth the wait, and definitely well worth and really not a wait. I talked to Lyle on Wednesday, got it 2 days later. So, but it was really fun, and it was a great little addition to the Serbian Zastava PAP. And in fact now I'm pretty much done with this rifle. I love it the way it is. Of course, with all the things we've done to it, I did some customizing. I did the stippling on the grip, which give a nice checkering here, and also on the forearm. I don't know if I talked about that before. I did the checkering and the stippling, I should say, there with the soldering iron, and then of course did the painting with web net meshing with the camo in khaki black and OD. So I'm pretty much happy with that. We got the new muzzle brake on there we put on, and that's the Tapco Razor, and so that is just it's just a wicked brake that is on the front of that thing, but it does kind of help out a little bit with muzzle rise. So I would say it's almost in a way more of a brake than it is a flash hider, but it does a pretty good job. I'm real happy with it. All right, but that's it. I'm ready to wrap up this video and get it out on YouTube, and really enjoyed the M9 Lyle. So thank you at UltiMAK, and thanks to your guys. All right, thanks. Bye.
Okay, here we have the box I just received from UltiMAK Lyle at UltiMAK. I talked to him on Wednesday of last week, and of course 2 days later, which was last Friday, I received the package, and so the shipping was excellent, very very quick. And what I got here is, if you know anything about the UltiMAKs, whatever it is the UltiMAK M9 for the Hugo M70 style AK-47 variants, and I have a Serbian Zastava PAP, and so this is the UltiMAK M9, and its purpose, of course, is to be used to replace the existing gas tube, so that I can. It's also very quality, very heavy product, so very very well worth. I think full retail is around 104 or something of that nature, and then you can get them at several different vendors, but very well worth the effort or the dollars, because it's a very quality product, very heavy duty. And I got it, of course, so that I can mount a red dot optic to the Serbian Zastava PAP, and it has the PAP has a dust cover with a Picatinny rail on it, but the dust cover, of course, as you know, just kind of moves around and bounces around, and so it's not going to hold zero for any optic. So this UltiMAK M9 will serve that purpose. How it works, of course, is that it actually mounts to the barrel, as opposed to where some of them just lay in the gas tube area. This actually mounts to the barrel with two brackets, and so we'll get into that, and I can show you how that works. But this is going to give me a real good low-centered optic mount, which will allow me to use. I have a couple different optics I could use. I have a primary arms micro dot Gen 7, which that's one of the distributors, actually, the outlets is primary arms, that they couple this or combine this with a micro dot. And so another red dot I have is a Bushnell TRS 25 micro dot. Both of those dots would allow me to mount on this UltiMAK M9 and give me a low 1/3 lower co-witness with the iron sights. And of course, the reason why I wanted to go with the M9 and put the red dot on the Zastava PAP is because, you know, my eyesight's not as good as it used to be, and the iron sights on the PAP are just a little bit, even though they're very good, they're not as good as a red dot would be. So I decided to get an optic and put on it, and that would be like the finishing touch for this rifle. I was doing a lot of different other mods to it. This will be the finishing mod. So the M9 is going to go on it. It'll mount solidly to the barrel. I can get my Bushnell TRS 25 on there and get a good red dot sight picture. And so if you watch the rest of the video, you'll see how that will go. All right.
Okay, here you see the UltiMAK M9 kit. This is the M9 itself, and then we've got the brackets here. That comes with an Allen wrench, the two brackets that hold it, and it comes with an extra Allen head screw to retain the M9 on the barrel. It comes with very explicit instructions, very good instructions. Even has a colored diagram that gives you pretty well, depicts all the illustrated information that you're going to need. Very good instructions. Read it at least once and then start over and kind of go through the steps as you go along. But the idea is, of course, you're just going to your first attempt to put this on is to get it on there and adjust it, and then make sure the lower handguard works out, and then you'll put it back on later with a permanent mount. So this is the M9, and this is what will be going on there. And first thing you want to do is want to clear the weapon, make sure the mag's empty, make sure there's nothing in the chamber, and then go ahead and working on disassembling the weapon. Right now I'm going to remove the dust cover. I'll go ahead and get everything here, and I'll release the spring, and I'll go ahead and pull the bolt out, the piston, and start working on taking off the old gas tube, which we won't be using anymore. So let's get that gas tube off. And there's the old gas tube. We'll put that aside, maybe use it for another time or something. And of course, now we're going to work on removing the lower handguard. Of course, what we want to do here, there's a retainer pin there, and that has to be pried up, of course. And that will move that out of the way so that we can remove the lower handguard retainer clip, and get that out of the way, and we push it, and then we get that lower handguard off, because we're going to have to take that off to get those two brackets on there. Alright, so let's get that up and out of the way, and then we're going to go ahead and get that lower handguard off. And there goes the retainer, and lower handguard comes off. And then we will go ahead and start working on installation of our UltiMAK M9 with the two brackets. get it so it sets up. What you'll do is it doesn't sit in there like a normal gas tube. Of course, you drop it in at first, but you want to make sure there's good spacing between both the front and the back of the M9. It doesn't actually sit tight like a gas tube. In other words, it doesn't fit up flush to either the back or the front. And so I forgot what that is called there, but the idea is, of course, just to make sure it's nice and even on both ends. And so once you've got that and you're pretty happy with it, go ahead and get your brackets. You start getting those placed where they go and lining those up. And I'll get my reading glasses on here so I can kind of see what I'm doing. Okay. Nice and tight in there. Alright. And once I get it lined up, that's the key. You don't want to strip these Allen head bolts off. You don't want to strip them in there, so you want to make sure you get them in there. Get the brackets where they're going to go, and then we'll start inserting our Allen head screws nice and straight so that everything cinches up nice and tight. Of course, this is just the first installation. This is just the alignment installation. It will be coming back off, so we can put our lower handguard back on, of course. So once we get that in there, get them going. Okay, now we got the lower handguard off, and we've got the UltiMAK M9 mounted with brackets. Everything's sort of hand tightened up, and we just want to make sure that looks good. Everything's all lined up like it should be. Here's where we're going to have to test the lower handguard to make sure it's actually going to fit before we make a permanent mount. So we're going to take the lower handguard and we're going to test fit it over top of these mounting brackets that go around the barrel. And if it fits okay, then there's no adjustments needed to be made. So let's go ahead and put the lower handguard on and make sure that it's all going to fit up. Alright, looks like without any, we don't have to make any adjustments to the lower handguard. It just fits a lot of clearance over top of the mounting brackets, so it won't be any problem at all. We can go ahead and remove the UltiMAK M9 from its temporary mount and go ahead and get it permanently mounted. And at that point, we can go ahead and put the lower handguard on and reassemble the rifle. Just like we talked about before, the retaining lever for the lower handguard is, at this point, we can't just put the lower handguard on and lock down the forward retaining lever because the UltiMAK M9 is preventing us from doing that. So this is where we have to, we're just test fitting it at this point, and everything looks good. So we will proceed to removing the lower handguard temporarily, and then go ahead and we're at this point we're supposed to hold the rifle level or horizontal as level as best you can after you've taken the set screws out. Okay, now we're back. We've got everything back together. The lower handguard is back installed. We've got the forward handguard locking lever back in place. The UltiMAK is on board, and we have the spacing in the front and the back as we're supposed to, and the screws are all set. Notice the rear lower handguard, rear gas tube locking lever is really not used now. It's left there in place, of course, but it's not used to hold the UltiMAK. UltiMAK is obviously bolted through the brackets to the barrel. So it's being held in place by these two brackets on the barrel, and the rear locking lever is no longer really being used. So there you have it. It's pretty much all in place, and now we just got to get the rifle back together and get it reassembled. I think it looks really good. It's really sharp looking, and it feels good. And I just can't wait to get the optic on there and get it to the range and get it zeroed in. And so we'll have a quick sight picture with the red dot, and that was the objective, and I think that would be the final thing we wanted to do with this rifle. So looks real good, real happy with it, and let's just go ahead and get her put back together. Alright, now we're just going to go ahead and reassemble it and get the gas tube, or the bolt and piston back in place. And it's giving me a little bit of a workout here. I don't know why, I just didn't want to drop straight in there, but get that, get the rear of the bolt back locked in there. Once it gets in there, mainly right here we want to make sure that the piston goes down into the new gas tube in the UltiMAK, and it does a really good job. It's real smooth. So we'll get the spring in there and get that loaded up and get the dust cover back on it. And of course, we're not using the old gas tube anymore. That's going to be set aside, and if we ever need to do something with it, we'll have it. Of course, get the dust cover back on there, and we'll back up and running, and ready for the red dot. All right, there you have it. Pretty simple, pretty easy to put on. Great instructions, and just a great product all around. Very easy. There's the, of course, the Picatinny rail that's on the rear dust cover of the Zastava PAP, and of course it looks good and it's really nice, but it's not very functional with the the dust cover moving around. So that's where the UltiMAK M9 up front here comes in. It's mounted very securely to the barrel, and it's stable. And so there's where you want to put your optics at. So and again, the rear. The old rear gas tube locking lever is just left in place, and then cycles fine. Make sure that the piston runs up and down the M9 like it should, and that's pretty much where it's at. We just now, like I said, we just gotta get the optic on it, and we'll get her to the range, and probably go by a friend's tonight. We're gonna do a little bore sight on it, bore sight laser, and then make sure we got our optic set up for tomorrow, and we'll get some. We'll get some holes on paper at the range. We'll go to the Outer Banks Gun Club tomorrow and get some lead down range and see how it shoots. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to the next video. The Serbian Zastava PAP here, and we've got now the UltiMAK M9 installed, which replaced the original gas tube. This is going to allow us to, because it clamps to the barrel, we talked about that before, this is going to allow us to put the red dot optic on there. And I have a Bushnell TRS 25 on here right now, and we'll be able to get a good sight picture with the red dot. So we're going to give it a shot and see how it goes. Alright, that's it. Okay, we're just here. We're going a little closer on the target. We're at 50 yards. We're just we shot the AK, and this is my friend's target here. He shot at 50 yards, and I can pretty much cover. This is his group at 50 yards with that red dot. This makes a huge difference with having an optic as opposed to just iron sights. But I can cover that with my fist, and to to me at 50 yards, those are all good kill shots. My target headshots, pretty much the same thing, but these are headshots at 50 yards with a 7.6239, and I'll take that any day. We're going to do 100 yards later, so we'll see how that looks, but other than that, it looks really good. Okay, here we go. The back to the Zastava PAP. The M9 UltiMAK is on there now with the red dot. We got the Bushmaster, or the Bushnell TRS-25. We're at 100 yards now, so the grouping has obviously spread a little bit. We're working the red dot in and getting it dialed in. We've got a couple shots here in the beginning. We pretty much grouped it in. We finished it up right about here. So at 100 yards, 7.62 by 39, Zastava PAP, and at 100 yards, not too bad. We're gonna stay with that. All right. Gonna get a quick sight picture of the Bushnell TRS-25 on with the UltiMAK rail, so we kind of see what we've got here.
Not too bad.
So now you see the.
Yeah, hold it like that. Let me pull the trigger.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't kick too bad.
And so now we can get a little co-witness going on.
It's a little harder.
It's kind of nice.
We were shooting this last time and we went shot at last.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn.